transfer portal and NIL and all that stuff. And the answer is always the same. If you have to change the way you teach and coach and treat people because you fear an aspect that has been introduced to the game, you were never doing it right. So it's real simple for us. Every single day we pour every ounce of our existence into doing for our players exactly what we do for our very own sons and daughters in our households. So a very simple philosophy. It's not perfect, but certainly the intentions behind it will be.
Coach Signetti.
You know, I think the game of football applied correctly, teamwork, leadership, commitment, discipline, work ethic, sacrifice, perseverance, resiliency, relentlessness, a lot of qualities that can help people become more successful later in life.
We're going to stay on the right-hand side, third row back.
Kirk Bowles from the Houston Chronicle. Coach Signetti, I wonder if you're expecting about 100 coaches to show up in Bloomington this spring to try to copy your blueprint. And do you see a lot of programs like Indiana under the radar that could be positioned to make a run like you have?
Well, I'm sure we've got some people's attention. I'm not one to entertain visitors too much in the office. I prefer to watch tape and keep growing and learning. I don't know really the answer to the second question. You know, I think anything's possible with the right commitment, leadership, blueprint, plan, and people.
Our left-hand side, first row.
Hi, Coy Wire, CNN. Coach Signetti, growing up as a young kid with your dad around and some of the other legendary coaches you grew up with, Bobby Bowden and a young Nick Saban there, what are some of the lessons you learned or even experiences that really impacted you as a young whippersnapper that really stuck with you?
You know, I think, you know, my dad was a great leader, but he led by example. He had a certain presence to him. He had a great work ethic and discipline. You know, he overcame cancer twice. My senior year of high school, when he was head coach at West Virginia, was given his last rites twice. And really never got to quite finish what he started there. You know, Coach Bowden, I can vividly remember a game at Maryland at halftime in the locker room. Something that will stick with me forever in terms of him and the team. I'm not going to share that message. But I just think I learned a lot from my dad and the game. And I always knew what I wanted to do and drew from every person throughout my career, assistant and head coach. And while my journey is very unique, I think it did prepare me for this particular opportunity and the changes that have taken place in college football.
We're going to go on the aisle on our right-hand side.
Hello, Scott Docterman with The Athletic. What was it like to walk off the practice field for the final time yesterday, knowing how much that these players have put into it physically, mentally, emotionally throughout the course of an entire season and what they're putting off physically to reach this level? And what's kind of the bond and the love that each one of you have for your teams and the players and what they've experienced?
Coach Cristobal.
Well, I mean, yesterday's a typical Thursday practice, and I think the processes themselves are no different than any other Thursday, but every team is unique, right? Everyone is uniquely special and different, and has brought something different to the lives of all the people around them. But I don't see us getting caught up in any nostalgic moments or whatnot. I just really sense that our team was really focused, that they were really intent on carrying out the rest of the day's processes, knowing the tremendous opportunity that we have. And that's how we closed out the evening, and that's how we got ready this morning to go and continue our process.
Coach Signetti.
Yeah, you know, I think leading up to this game, there's been a lot of pro-Indiana hype, a lot of rat poison out there. And I happened to see Holly Rowe's thing on social media this morning about our guys hugging each other at the end of practice. And it is a close team. And I've witnessed quite a bit of sentimentalism throughout the week from some of our seniors who we've been with quite a long time. I think it's time to sharpen the saw now. Throw those warm fuzzies out the door. That sentimentalism. It's time to go play a game against a great opponent. We got to have a sharp edge going into this game. And, you don't go to war with warm milk and cookies.
We're going to move over to the left-hand side on the aisle, third row.
Coach Cristobal, Brian London, Real One's Canes Podcast, Believe Network. Much has been made about the transfer portal, but when you look at the guys that are having an impact on your team this year, many of them are recruits and hometown guys. When you think about Mark, Malachi, Ruben, and the like, you just talk about still the importance of recruiting high school athletes, especially locally as well.
I mean, it's always at the core of your program, right? You like to have people come in when they're just starting to learn and understand what it is to play at the college level and become a student athlete at the collegiate level as well. And I think the best part about what college football is now, with all the things we have to fix, is the fact that they're introduced to a very diverse locker room, right? And if you look at Miami and the city and our program and all floors, right, where the coaches are, development staff, academics, we come in every size, shape, skin color, ethnicity, speak just about every single language, and it's awesome. And when your local guys become prominent players, it really galvanizes the community. But I think what's also helped us continue to elevate is the fact that we're very national, and we've come from all over, and here people are accepted and people are driven. And if they love to work hard, if they are high achieving mentalities, if they care about doing things the right way and push themselves in the classroom and on the field, then they're going to get along great. And that's what I think we're starting to see a lot more of. And that was the initial challenge to get us going and thinking in that direction. So I'm not sure if I answered your question, but I hope that kind of, encompasses a little bit about the local plus, the out-of-state guys.
We're going to move to the right-hand side.
Coach, this is for you. Yesterday, I spoke with Carson Beck, and we talked about his experiences with playing in the national championship. And as you guys know, this isn't anything new for him. He's done this before twice, have 2 rings and soon to be 3. You spoke about mentality. Talk to me about Carson Beck's leadership with leading this Miami team.
I'm a big believer of Carson Beck, and like him, our entire team on November 1st, 2025 did not have very much positive energy surrounding them. And I think Carson Beck epitomizes the ability to take an adverse situation and turn it into something not only positive, but something that helps one grow and endure and become a stronger and better version of themselves. I think he's the most experienced player in the college football playoffs. And I think that since the day he arrived, and this shows again how savvy and how experienced he is, he couldn't participate in spring ball, but yet every walkthrough, every meeting, anything post-practice, pre-practice, anything outside of football, he was very much spearheading gatherings, opportunities to galvanize the entire team so that they understood and knew not only did he know what he was doing and that he was a high-level player, but that he was willing to do anything for the team. And that's his only concern. He's not caught up in personal accolades or awards. He wants to win, and he's willing to do anything to win.
I'm going to come back over to our right-hand side, second row.
Thanks. First question is for Coach Signetti. Scott Morgan, South Florida Tribune. First of all, you have a chance tomorrow night to do something that Bob Knight did, and that's go undefeated and untied to win a national championship. What are your thoughts about Bob Knight and to begin with, and what you have a chance to do, obviously, tomorrow night, because obviously he's revered on that campus?
Yeah, it was 50 years ago, as a matter of fact. And I was a big kind of Bob Knight fan as a little kid. I liked sort of the shenanigans and the faces at the press conferences and throwing the chair across the court. I thought that was pretty cool. And the guy I bought my house from was a big friend of Bob Knight, actually. So, I think, but it really has no effect on, what's going to take place here 750 tomorrow night, and but it was 50 years ago, and you know, if we're able to climb that mountain, you know, it'll be a unique coincidence.
And Mario, you obviously entered the tournament as a number 10 seed. How much did that drive you throughout there to prove a lot of people wrong, that you certainly believe that you deserve to be where you're going to be at tomorrow night to finish the job? Because a lot of times people use that as a way to motivate themselves to get to a tournament. Thank you.
Yes, sir. I don't think the external stuff has ever been a motivator for our team. I think it's always been internal. I think our guys always want to prove themselves right. And I think the confidence and the trust in each other was something that just continued to build momentum throughout the course of the season. And it was a matter of just finally just looking at each other, looking in the mirror, and making a commitment to work out the details to allow us to win in the margins, right? Just because college football nowadays, the margins are so small. And if you don't own those details, you're going to get your butt beat on any given day. So I think it was that. I think it was all internally driven, and proud of them for that. But I think that there's an appetite and there's an acknowledgement that there's a lot more improvement to be had and to be made. And I think that we've worked really hard over the course of the playoffs to continually get better.
We're going to go to our right-hand side all the way back.
Mackenzie Eason, University of Miami TV. This is for both coaches. With the transfer portal having been open for the past few weeks, how do you ensure that that buzz around the portal doesn't distract your team and players?
Coach Signetti.
I think we're beyond that point now. You know, the first weekend it opened where you could have official visitors and had commitments. I had to deal with it the following day very briefly. And after that, I thought we were fine. It's a reality of college football. And I think the players understand it's a reality. It doesn't mean they accept or respond to the consequences of it very well all the time. But I don't see it as a big issue.
Coach Cristobal.
You handle everything like you handle everything. You handle it with honesty and with transparency, and put your cards on the table. Make sure you do your best to get people to put their cards on the table, and just operate from that standpoint. I think anything outside of that, whatever way it works out, you know, it was meant to be.
We're going to stay on our right-hand side, second row.
I have a question for Coach Cristobal and Coach Signetti. Coach Cristobal, first of all, congratulations to you and your success your staff has had for the city of Miami. When you was recruited by Miami, you talk about how Michael Irvin on the visit actually said some choice words to you that inspired you to become a Miami Hurricane. Recently, Michael Irvin actually kissed you on national TV.
It's on the cheek, by the way, so we all.
Have you sat down with Michael Irvin and set some boundaries, or as long as you're winning, Michael Irvin can do whatever he wants to do?
I'd rather not get kissed by Michael Irvin. He was a great teammate. In fact, he was one of the kind of hosts on when I was on an official visit at the University of Miami. Look, that was a day and age that I don't know if it'll ever be duplicated, and I say it all the time. Like, I'm a nobody. I'm a local kid that, by the grace of God, Gary Stevens believed in my brother and I and brought us over to the University of Miami, and Jimmy Johnson gave us a scholarship. And again, it changed everything. But I went to practices all the time, and I was so attracted to that brotherhood. Like, I wanted to be one of those dogs. Those guys were dogs. Those guys were competitors. They were relentless. And I wanted to be part of it. I just didn't know if I was ever going to be good enough. So I was excited, but I was terrified. And I soon learned that once you were part of that brotherhood, you're forever different. And I think unless you're a Miami Hurricane, that's hard to understand. You know, so seeing all these guys come back, and not just the Hall of Famers and the popular guys, but the third and fourth string guy that maybe never got a chance to play but is doing so well in life and has an awesome family. Seeing all these guys come back, and after 20 years of, you know, not being around and really not, you know, having the support that Miami needed, I think it's awesome. Our players love seeing them. They know, you know, that coach is coach, and that the whole kiss thing, man, I'm never going to live that down. But look, man, that guy's a brother to me. So are all those guys. So we're very honored and fortunate to have them with us for the ride.
We're going to stay over on our right-hand side, fourth row in the middle.
Good morning, coaches. Kelsey Jarrett, CFP Media Team. As you guys head into the last game of the 2025-2026 season, how would you guys describe your team's identity?
Coach Signetti?
You're talking about final preparation until kickoff? Is that what you're talking about? Okay. You know, for us, it's a typical Friday, day before a game. We have a, you know, certain thing we do for game 1, game 6. We'll do the same thing for this game. And, you know, it's my job to do everything I can to make sure our team is totally prepared and has the right mindset going in so they can put it on the field and play 1 to 150. And so today will be no different than any other Friday before a Saturday game.
Coach Cristobal?
Yeah, it's, again, pretty much the same response. I mean, it's Friday, and Friday has its own process and the things that we do, and certainly we're not going to break those things, and I think our players wouldn't expect anything else.
We have time for a few more questions, but are there any questions? Oh, we'll come back down here to the very front. Very front row. Tim, back to you.
Coach Signetti, the national championship game is a challenge, obviously, in and of itself. The fact that you will be on Miami's sideline, but in the stadium that they call home, what sort of extra motivator is that this is, I know your alumni travel extremely well, but this is going to be considered a road game in a lot of ways for you guys. What sort of motivator is that for your kids?
I'm not sure it's a motivator. It is what it is. It's factual. This is where Miami plays their home football games, and we're playing a game against them with a lot on the line. That's it, plain and simple.
We're going to come back down here to the front. 2 down from our last question.
Gary Furman, Kingsport.com. Mario, you had the very unique opportunity of playing for national championships as a player, and now you're doing it as a head coach. How is the experience the same, different? Is one more meaningful than the other?
I mean, it's process right now, and I hate to give you a boring answer. I do. I know that, you know, certainly haven't lit up this press conference by any stretch, but it's what we do, and I think that, you know, I think certain things you reflect upon after the season when it's done, there's no value right now in getting off course and getting off your process. So that's where the entire focus is. That's what the mentality has always been, and that's what it is today and all the way through tomorrow. So, and then after that, you know, I think the question will probably have a more, you know, eventful response.
We're going to stay on our right-hand side. We're going to go to the 3rd row.
Serena Raboyne, WHAS 11 in Louisville. Coach Signetti, what kind of challenge does Miami's defensive line give you guys on Monday?
Yeah, I think that's where it all starts in football, is up front on both sides of the ball, and I think, you know, very impressive. They're deep. They're twitchy, they're strong, they're violent. I know Corey likes that word, violent. You know, and you know, they're philosophically very similar to us in terms of disruption, TFL, sacks, stop the run. They just do it a little different way. The ends are premier players. The inside guys are really, really good. They're too deep everywhere, and you know, they're hard to block. And they do a nice job of tying the whole package in to keep you off balance, and there'll be a big challenge.
We're going to now move over to our left-hand side, 1st row.
Hi, Coy Wire, CNN. Coach Cristobal, as you were training and studying to become a Secret Service agent, can you describe how tormented you were internally when you kept thinking about your love of football, and what was that moment like when you finally decided you were going to chase that dream?
I mean, it was something that I always kind of envisioned myself doing, being working for the federal government. I loved every aspect of it. My family's always been in law enforcement, right? Law enforcement, teachers, construction workers. It's kind of what you do. Come to this country, take 2 jobs, go to night school. Not me, my parents, obviously. But I wanted to be in, and I honestly took the GA job hoping that I could coach one day, but not knowing, it's almost like, man, I'll never have a shot to do so. And once you're in, you get your first taste of it, and back then there was only one GA. Now there's 44 analysts on each side of the ball. Back then you had to do every card, I've done every single ounce of film. And making about $1.70 an hour, working 22-hour days, and a glutton for punishment. I loved it. And I remember being at the Gator Bowl with a bunch of the players, young, you might know these names, Reggie Wayne, Santana Moss, Ed Reed, those guys were young pups. And, back then didn't have a cell phone, got a pager, right? Boom, call so-and-so, special agent, assistant to a special agent, Secret Service, Miami, for your appointment to come on in and join. And that's when it hit you like, whoa. But slept on it. I woke up in a panic. I love football. I've always loved football. Didn't really play it for anybody else or want it for anybody. I just loved it. And I wasn't willing to let that opportunity go again. So by the grace of God, I was able to move my stuff back in my GA office. Butch Davis, Larry Coker took me back and gave me the opportunity.
We're going to take our last question from, again, on our left side, third row.
Bailey Smith, Gulf Coast News in Fort Myers, Florida. Coach Signetti, Coach Cristobal. When you look back at both of your teams from where you started at the beginning of the year to where you are today, what would you say is the biggest internal growth that you see, and what makes you the most proud about them?
Coach Signetti?
Well, the first play of the game in our opener, Old Dominion went 80 yards for a touchdown on a quarterback run. So we were down 7-0, just like that. And I think we build on our successes. Success brings belief, which brings confidence and more success. And through repetitions of mother learning, you get better. And with some big road game wins, we developed more belief and confidence that we could that we were a resilient football team and could overcome any kind of unexpected challenge. And so I think the team, grew quite a bit and has put itself in position to be where we are today.
Coach Cristobal.
I think game one opened up our eyes. I think the entire country expected us not to do well against a great team in Notre Dame, and that built our confidence in a big-time way and had us going the right way. And we got field rushed, in Dallas over at SMU, and reality hit, and everyone on our football program saw that graphic, that edit. Miami has a 5% chance to make it into the postseason. And I think that's what galvanized us. I think we realized that we had to approach each and every day with being the most excited, the most energetic team on the field, and that pre-snap and post-snap discipline had to be at the forefront, and that ball security couldn't be compromised, and neither could ball disruption, and that you had to be physical and find a way to out-hit your opponent on every single play, and that had to mean more to you than it did to the other side. And I think those principles just continue to push us forward so that if we practice in that manner, then we could earn the right to cut it loose on game day. And as those games have come on, we have gotten better and better, and again, still have a lot to improve, and looking forward to tomorrow night.
Coaches, we're going to move into our photo opportunity with the trophy. If you guys could please get on each side. As a reminder, I need everybody down in front. We're going to let our cameras back on the risers have their time first, and then we'll move down to the front. Okay, let's give a quick count for our cameras on the risers. Okay, everybody set? Great. Let's move down to the front. Our photographers down front. Couple more seconds. All right, thank you both. That concludes today's news conference. Please let us know if there's anything we can help you with, and have a great day.